Hi and welcome to my channel. If you are a first timer here at Kuhn, Kraft, Yoga and Design, my name is Laura and I'm so glad to have you joining me. And if you are a current subscriber and have seen my practices every Sunday, I'm glad to have you back. Today's practice is another very restorative and peaceful flow, a little bit of yin, a little bit of movement, all gentle, all aimed at improving our mobility. If you like, you can have a blanket or blocks or even a strap in this practice. I won't be using props, but I will still cue if you are choosing to use your props. I will let you know when they may be most effective for you. So we're going to get started seated on our mats. Start off in the center of your mat, and let's just take, so that we're set off right away in the right position, we're going to start with the left shin in front of the right, just in this easy pose. And as always, as we begin our practice, we're going to start by grounding ourselves. So let's begin by sitting up nice and tall. Aim for this very flat part, the crown of the head, to reach tall towards the ceiling. Feel length from the spine all the way down into the tailbone. If you feel comfortable, you can begin to softly close the eyes. And maybe the hands come to rest on top of the knees. Palms down or facing up, yogi's choice. The first couple of minutes of your practice are really just to take the time to reconnect with your body. The entire yoga practice is really just being self-aware of what's occurring within your body, physically and mentally. And we take those first couple of minutes to slow down and we begin to search out the breath. Finding our natural inhale and exhale. No need to control the breath in today's practice. We're just observers in our body. Allowing things to move gently. Notice the body weight evenly distributed on the sit bones. So those are the two little bony protrusions at the bottom of your pelvis. Allow the shoulders to feel heavy and start to create extra space between the shoulders and the ears. And you can stay where you're at. I'm going to turn around so you can get a little better image of what I am asking. From here, you can take the left arm behind you and then draw the right arm behind as well. If you can, catch a hold of the upper left arm with your right hand, just above the left elbow. Now, if you are tight in the shoulders, this can be a challenge. You can also take a hold of the left forearm. From here, just anchor that left shoulder down. We just want to have it nice and strong in its position and pulled away from the left ear. You can totally stay right here. If you like a little more stretch into the side of the neck and into the top of the shoulder, you can start to draw that right ear towards the top of the right shoulder. And from here we'll hold and continue to breathe. Gently inhale and exhale, creating more space along the left side. No need to force or pull. We want this to be a very gentle action. The muscles along the side of the neck and into the top of the shoulder don't react well to being stretched extra with any extra pulling on them. A nice, gentle, and soft stretch will make a little more headway into getting more ease and maybe some less tension into the upper body. When you're ready, let's go ahead and bring the head back to neutral. I'm going to spin myself back around. Again, keeping the legs where they're at with the left shin in front of the right. We're going to take a side body lean. So let's take the right hand over to the side of the mat. You can also have it to a block. And then we'll inhale the left arm up and over. Maybe your right forearm comes to a block or comes all the way down to the mat. Wherever you're at, let's keep the left hip anchored. And maybe we start to gaze up towards the sky, roll the chest open, reach towards the right side of the room with your left fingertips. Feel that left side body grow long. If this is too much of a challenge for your neck, you can also keep your neck at neutral or just gaze down at your mat. On the next inhale, let's come back up. And then we're going to exhale, bring it back down into the left, to the right again. Stretching out with those left fingertips. And then we're going to rotate the chest so that the chest starts to face towards the mat. We're still reaching long with those left fingertips. And then we're going to come into a diagonal forward fold, taking both of the fingertips, the right and the left hands, over towards the right diagonal, and then draping the upper body over that right knee. How much you are at a diagonal is really determined by your body and your needs. You can also stay higher up on your fingertips if this feels good for you. Just keep that left hip anchored as much as possible so you feel a stretch throughout the left side of the body. Maybe as you hold in this forward fold, maybe you feel your breath start to deepen. Also, maybe just notice the sensation as the breath travels down the back of the body. You can feel the ribs expand throughout your back, through the mid and the lower portions of the back. I'll take about 3 more breaths here. And staying low in this fold, we're going to start to walk the hands towards the center. So now we're in a seated forward fold, the left shin in front of the right. And you can allow your head to drape and your back to round. Maybe you have a block underneath your forehead to support the weight of the head. Wherever you're at, start to fully relax. Allow yourself to melt into the posture. Feel the shoulders spread wide across the back. Allow the muscles in the face to relax as well. Think of a softness in between the eyebrows and along the forehead, and along the top of the cheeks, all the way into the jaw. Maybe you can feel that softness even going into the tongue and the throat and the sides of the neck. Again, as we stay low, we're going to continue to walk the hands, now making our way to a left side diagonal. And then as you exhale, we'll forward fold once more on this diagonal using any support that you need, a block, maybe a blanket underneath your forehead or on top of the knee. This time, we'll think about keeping the right hip grounded, feeling as connected as we can on that side. It will be natural for your body to want to lean towards the left and, of course, for the right hip to pick up. Try to counter that. Send the intention of the right hip and the right knee towards the earth. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and walk ourselves upright using the strength in our upper body and our arms, and we'll come back to a neutral position. If you like, you can take a quick second and just give yourself a little windshield wiper of the legs. Allow the hips to breathe. We will move on to the other side, so we're going to change up the position of the legs. When you're ready, you can come back to a stillness and into your seated position, this time taking the right shin in front of the left, coming into your easy pose. Again, find your alignment. Think about keeping tall from the crown of the head and a nice straight back. At the same time, we're going to draw that navel in, so you just kind of feel that slight compression drawing the navel into the back of the spine. Stay where you're at, and once more, I'm going to spin myself around so that you can see the back side of the body. This time, we're going to take the right arm back behind us, then draw the left arm behind. Either take a hold up above the right elbow onto that upper right arm, or if you can't quite make it there, go ahead and bend the right arm slightly and maybe take a hold of the right forearm. Anchor the right shoulder down so it's fixed in position, and you can stay right here if you're already feeling a nice stretch. If you'd like a little extra, you can slowly and softly tilt the left ear towards the left shoulder. We'll hold here for about 3 to 5 breaths. Allow your breath to be gentle. And feel it to continue to move in and out of the body, just in a natural rhythm. Giving the muscles enough time to relax and to release into the posture. On the next inhale, let's bring the head back to neutral. I'm going to spin myself back around. And we're going to prepare for that side body lean once more. So if you used a block underneath your left forearm or your left hand, you can go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Sometimes we're more open on one side versus the other, so you may need a little change up. Wherever you're at, the left hand can come towards the left side, and we'll inhale the right arm up and overhead. Maybe taking the right upper arm just slightly outside of that right cheek, rotating the chest so that it looks up towards the sky. If it feels good, you can lower down further, keeping the right hip anchored so that we fully feel that stretch all the way along the right side body from your right pinky through your forearm, the back of your upper arm, the underside of your armpit, throughout the ribs and the intercostal muscles of the rib cage, until you feel it sinking into that right hip. Let's take an inhale, come back to an upright position. You can keep the right arm lifted, and then we're going to exhale. We'll lower once more to our side body lean. And from here, we're going to change the position of the torso. We'll start to rotate the chest so that the heart center starts to face the mat. We're reaching with the right fingertips, reaching out a diagonal, like we're trying to reach the other side of the room. And then we're going to start to allow ourselves to fold over that left knee, coming into a diagonal forward fold. Just like we did on the other side, a new sensation on this side. As our legs are in a different position, you'll feel this more into your right hip this time. And as always, you can have a little head support here if you would like a block underneath your head. Think about keeping the neck nice and long. We're going to begin to walk the hands over towards center, again for a forward fold, but with a new feeling. Maybe it feels more open on this side, maybe you feel a little tighter. Let's continue to feel that sensation of allowing our hips, both hips, to feel heavy and also sinking towards the back of the mat. So think less about your body coming forward and your body weight draping over the top, and think a little bit more about your weight staying heavy on the back side of the body. Feel that lengthening through the low back and also in the mid back as well. It's natural for your hips to want to lift off the mat. But let's think about them maybe staying more connected. Maybe your tailbone staying more connected with the earth. And then from here, we're going to take our last diagonal forward fold by walking both of the hands towards the right side of the body. Fantastic. Again, use your hands and your upper body to walk yourself back to an upright position. We'll take one more opportunity here to just allow our legs to, or in our hips, to release with a couple of windshield wipers. And from this movement, we're going to come into Malasana, or our yogi squat. For your yogi squat, we're going to use our hands to lift ourselves up, and we're going to take the toes out at a slight diagonal and allow the hips to drop down. Here in my body, I can take my heels all the way to the earth, but that has come over much practice and also more openness in the ankles. If you are up on your balls of your feet, that's completely fine. You can also have support underneath your feet if you'd like a blanket or even a block underneath your heels. That can be helpful. I started out by sitting on one or two blocks in my yogi squat so that I could hold the pose for much longer. So if you want to have a block or two blocks underneath your tailbone, feel free to do so. There is no shame in using props in yoga. They are amazing. I think I have them probably throughout my house because I never know when I'll want to grab one. Wherever you're at, try to take the elbows in between the knees for your yogi squat and then stay lifted throughout the chest and keeping a nice straight spine. So again, even though we are in a squat, we're still trying to sit as tall as we can with the head reaching towards the sky. Inhale here. And exhale. From our squat, we'll take our hands to the earth and we'll push into the ground and start to lift the hips up towards the sky. You can bring the feet back so that they're parallel. I'm going to turn to the side. And from here, we're just going to take a quick dangling pose. So knees can be deeply bent. Allow the head and the neck to hang, and then go ahead, if you feel like you are safely balanced, you can go ahead and take a hold of the opposite elbow and use the pull of the arms for just some gentle traction into the low back. If you feel fairly open into the back of the legs and the hamstrings, you can also start to straighten the knees. However you feel to start your practice is perfectly good. If your knees were straightened, let's go ahead and re-bend the knees. We're going to start to bend at the hips, tuck the tailbone. We're going to roll ourselves all the way up to standing. From your standing position, let's just take a moment to find our equilibrium and our balance here in a mountain pose. I'll turn around to face the camera. Find yourself with the feet hip-width distance apart, maybe toes just slightly turned out, and you can allow the shoulders to rest and relax away from the ears. Feel them separate down the back of the body. We're going to take a couple more lateral stretches in this mountain pose. So let's inhale the left arm up. And then the right arm comes up to meet it. Maybe take a hold of that left wrist. And we're going to side body lean over towards the right. As we do so, let's stay firmly anchored in the left foot. Maybe push the left hip over towards the left side of the room. Gaze can come up to the ceiling. If that's a lot on your neck, again, keep neutral or gaze down at the floor. We don't want to create more tension in these poses. We want to feel an openness and create small improvements of our body. So try less to fight with the poses and more take more time to discover where you can create more space and learn how to make them better for you. On the next inhale, we're going to come back up to center. This time, we're going to take it over to the right. So let's take a hold of the right hand with the right wrist with the left hand. And then we're going to side body lean to the left and push that hip out towards the right side of the room. Really stretch all the way from the outside of the right foot, the outside of the right leg. Feel everything move and open on that right side body. On the inhale, let's come back up to center. We can go ahead and release those arms down. Maybe shake out the shoulders. Give yourself a few shrugs. If that's tiring for your arms, having them up and overhead. From here, we're going to lower back down onto the mat. And let's make every movement count here in our yoga practice. We're going to go ahead and lower. Have the feet turned out at a slight diagonal. We're going to lower through our yogi squat. So maybe take the hands to prayer. Lower the hips slowly as you can. If you need to take your hands to the mat for support, you can completely do that. And from here at our lowest point in our squat, maybe you take the arms out in front of you and then allow ourselves to sink down to the mat. I'm going to spin myself around, and you can do so as well if you were turned to the side of your mat. And we're going to come into staff pose, extending the legs out long. From your staff pose, just a moment to find ourselves and find our alignment. This is a natural thing to do so that our body returns to the correct position when we come back and do these poses in the future. From our staff pose, we're going to take a seated forward fold. Now, depending on your body, if you have any lower back issues or maybe sciatic pain, you'll want to keep the back nice and straight. The straighter you keep your back, the more you're going to feel a pull into the hamstrings. So just know that if you can only come about this far forward with your straight back, that's perfectly fine. You're going to feel a wonderful stretch into the back of the legs. If your back is no issue and you want to make a restorative pose out of this, and also maybe get more of a stretch into the back of the spine and into the low back, you can allow yourself to fold forward over the legs and round into the back. Yogi's choice, wherever you're at. You can always try one option this time and then a different option next time, because we are going to come into our forward fold once more in this practice. Holding here for about 3 more breaths in our forward fold. On an inhale, let's come up. From here, our next pose is going to be a cow face pose. So to take our cow face legs, we're going to go ahead and bend both of the knees. And then take the left leg, we'll have that underneath, bending the left knee so that it's about in the center line of the body, and then start to stack the right knee on top. Your right knee can be lifted as long as you feel supported on both of the sit bones and not rolling onto one hip more than the other. You can also adjust the distance from where your heels are in towards your hips. Sometimes if they're more open, that can feel a little bit better, a little easier on the body. And also, if you'd like to add on to your cow face pose and get into the full body pose, here we can take the arm position. For this arm position, you're going to take the right arm, bring it behind you so that the back of the right hand comes in between the shoulder blades. Then let's lift the left arm up, and then maybe we can take the palm of the left hand to reach in between the shoulder blades. This is my much tighter side. Maybe you can use a strap. And from here, we'll hold our cow face arms. If you'd only like to try this and then think, well, I'd like to leave this out and just keep the legs, that's completely fine. It's your practice. Make it what you will. If you want to deepen the pressure into the hips, you would start to bend forward and start to lean over that top right leg. If you were bent forward, let's come back to an upright position. We're going to unwind the arms, maybe shake out the shoulders, maybe give them a little cross in front of each other like so. And then we'll work on unwinding the legs. Crossing them back so that we come into a windshield wiper position. And just going from left to right. Wonderful. From here, we're going to return to our staff pose. Coming back into staff, we're going to take a quick twist and start to walk both of the hands to the left side of the body with the legs out, extended straight out in front of us. Staying tall in the spine in our twist, we can stay right here and keep a nice tall body. If you would like, you can also start to lean back, maybe bending into the left arm. Starting to revolve the chest, trying to make like your chest is facing towards the earth. This is a really big challenge for me. Some might get more of a twist out of it. The big thing with twists is we need to keep breathing. Feel the belly, feel the ribs expand, and allow ourselves to soften. If your arms were bent, start to straighten, and we're going to come back through center. From here, we're back in our staff pose, and we're going to take another forward bend. So if you would like to keep the back straight once more, you can do that. If you would like to feel how a rounded back feels this time, if that was not the choice you took the first round, you can take that position. Maybe as you're holding here, maybe you notice that, hey, I can get a little bit deeper in this second go. Taking about 3 more breaths. And on an inhale, we'll come back up to staff. I do love a forward fold, although they are quite challenging. We're going to come into our cow face pose on the opposite side this time. So let's bend the feet in, and then we're going to bend the right knee so that is on the bottom this time, and then stack the left knee on top. Adjusting the heels, sitting up nice and tall. You can stay right here if you would like to take the arms. We're going to bend that left hand back and behind us so that the back of the left hand is touching in between the shoulder blades. If you need to use your strap, you'll want to grab that now and then take the right hand behind you, maybe using the strap, or if you can make the reach for the fingertips, you can take your cow face arms on this side. Think about drawing that right elbow back towards the back of the room so that you're still nice and tall. And we're not crunching the spine forward with the pressure of the right elbow. Of course, this takes some openness in the shoulders. Give yourself a pat on the back, especially since, hey, your hands are already there already. And if you got into this arm position, that is wonderful. It takes practice to stay nice and tall. Over time, your shoulders will get more open. If you would like to increase this pressure and sensation into the hips, you can start to bend forward. And on an inhale, we'll come back up. Let's unravel the arms. You can go ahead and move the shoulders in any way that feels good to you. And then take the fingertips behind, rock back onto your hips, and take a couple of windshield wipers to release the energy, allow the blood to flow back through those joints. And when you feel settled there, extend the legs out long, sit up nice and tall, and we'll take that twist in our staff pose, maybe staying up tall and just bringing both of the hands over to the right side body, maybe even gazing towards the back of the room. If you want to take the twist a little deeper, you can maybe walk the left hand further back, maybe even bending into the right elbow, aiming to rotate the chest towards the back right side of the mat. On an inhale, let's come back up and unwind as we come to staff pose. From here, we're going to close out our class, and yogi's choice for Shavasana, you can either lower fully onto the mat, onto your back, and extend the legs and the arms out and open wide. Or if you would like to join me in coming into a wide-legged child's pose, we'll enjoy these last couple of minutes. In your child's pose, you can just allow the hips to sink back, the knees to open wide, and maybe just fold the arms and allow the forehead to come to rest on the back of the hands. Wherever you're at, we'll just take a few breaths to close out this extra gentle and restorative class today. Maybe noticing more openness into the shoulders, into the upper back. And a little added bonus by creating some heat into the hips as well today. You can enjoy your Shavasana and stay here for as long as you feel you would like to take. Allow the video to keep playing if you want. I will return to a seated position, and if you want to join me as well, we will all end class here today by taking the hands to prayer and thanking each other for showing up on our mats. As always, I hope you have a great day. Make it a good one. Bye.